Alright everyone, I hope you really enjoyed this video. This car is really important to me. This is one of my favorite videos. Check it out. I was visiting Voodoo Racing with Danny Johnson one day when we were in Vegas, and we came across this white Terminator sitting in the parking lot on flat tires. I had never seen a Terminator Cobra in such bad shape before, and I couldn't believe it was sitting there like that, and I wanted to know what the story was behind it. And we were looking around, and we took some observations and some pictures. It was missing the front bumper, had a cowl hood. The paint was faded, almost a bland matte color white because it's been out so long. It didn't have door locks, so that makes me wonder if the doors had been changed to the lightweight ones. I looked under the car and noticed that it had a single belt set up, so it was a turbo car now and not a supercharged car. And the interior only had one seat, and it was kind of dirty inside. And I just couldn't believe that there'd be a Cobra in this shape. And it had the Destructive Creations logo on the window and some other things, some other stickers and stuff that will tell what this car was. So anyway, I did some research, and I found out that this car is very iconic to Las Vegas. This was a major street race car. This car did a lot to motivate people. Other Voodoo cars that we'll talk about, other people who watched this car and then got Cobras of their own and tried to replicate the dream that this car had created for so many. This is a very iconic car. You can see in this picture there's no exhaust on the car. It's sitting on a set of GT wheels, and you can see the extra long studs for the axle. It has a solid axle. It's not an independent rear suspension car anymore. I think those are Yukon axles in it. And you start looking over the car and you can tell that it's been raced quite a bit. Here you can see the fuel battery shut off in the trunk, and just the overall poor condition of the car. It's pretty hammered and it's been sitting for a while. But let me tell you the story about this car. knoctv is a channel here on YouTube, and there are some videos of this car racing on knoctv that you can watch. So I encourage you to go to their channel, watch their videos. I tried to save some of their content to show you here about what I'm talking about for the video's sake, but there's a really good video, this one here in the middle, Destructive Creations Cobra versus Tabasco. There's another channel that I really like that has a long compilation about this car that really tells a good story about it, and it's this Destructive Creations video by kimbosvt 03, but that's the video right there in the middle with the car. And this car has a name. The name of this car is Snow White. And Snow White is a very awesome car with a lot of history. I was able to get a hold of the owner and talk to him for a little bit a couple of years ago. I even tried to consider buying the car, asked him how he felt about selling it, and he said unless it was a major family emergency or something wrong, he's not selling the car. And but right now he's not really in a position to fix it up. But let me tell you a little about this car. Here's the back window sticker that you can see in the other pictures. As far as I know, this is kind of bragging rights, saying we accept all your major credit cards, come run us for money, we'll take your money from you. And I've seen this on some of the other Voodoo cars. I thought it was funny. It's iconic as well for street racing down there. Obviously there are people who know way more about this than I do, but you can see this is actually a screenshot from the video about the car, and you can see in the picture that I had here, it still remains on the car intact. Now, I want to start out with a clip from the knoctv video about the DC Cobra, and this is one of my favorite video clips, my favorite movies to watch. I watch this over and over and over again. You can see here, it's a night in Vegas with the city in the background. Here's the car he's going to race, and here's Snow White on the trailer, and it's the same car, and look how tough it looks with those slicks on the back, These are the days when this car was new and it was in its prime, and you can see the slicks on it. You can see the fuel and battery shut off there on the trunk. Here's the car doing some test hits out at that spot in Vegas I've talked about where all the street racing's gone down. And here's a little burnout. He's getting ready to go, and it has this race lined up. I believe it was for $1,200. And he's making a couple test hits here. And I'll put the link to this video if I can in the description so you can come watch this. It has really cool music to it, everything. For copyright reasons, I'm not going to play the whole video and I'm not going to play the music or show anything, so I urge you to go watch this because it's one of my favorite street race videos. But here you watch Snow White just pull out and gap this car. I mean, this car was a really good street racing car in Vegas. You know, here's the big end with the car just totally destroying it at the end and you know, idling through the finish line. And here's some pictures of the car when it was new and in great condition. To think about when this car was new here in Las Vegas, you know, it's something that a lot of people couldn't have. That was an expensive car back then, and here's a guy who's got one, and you can see it's got the CCW style wheels on it. Those might even be CCWs, but some pictures of the car when he had it. He's driving it around and enjoying it. And especially for the time, this car was a really fast car. It still is a fast car, but it was a Eaton nitrous car for a while. That video about Destructive Creations shows all of this. It has really good storyline to it. But here he is on the dyno, and if you look in the background, here's Frank Yee of Voodoo Racing at the computer there doing the tuning way back then. This is one of those compilation videos that you watch and you fall in love with the Terminator Cobra. And you know, people like this were out there doing this with these cars back then, and it's definitely developed for me the love and desire to have the Cobras that I have. So here's a little engine shot with the Eaton. Here he is at the racetrack. You know, he ran in the 11s during this time. And you know, here it is at the track, and this is the track that I'd always go to with my Bullet, and I got the Bullet to run the same time as he was running back then, so I was pretty proud of that. But awesome car. Here's a little street race picture here, and another shot of it with the CCWs and slicks on the back, and a couple of screenshots of a street race that he was doing and just gapping this other car. It shows him racing other Cobras and stuff, and this is where they went to a Whipple supercharger, automatic, and cams. Voodoo Racing, doing all the work on the car, a solid axle swap, just an awesome car. So as I've watched the videos about this car and I've been able to go down to Las Vegas and visit these places on the streets where he had been racing the car, and spent a lot of time myself at Las Vegas Motor Speedway icing the car down to keep it cold. You know, I've done that myself. It's just been a lot of fun. So it's cool to see the car in the same places I've been and see him doing so well. Here he is racing a silver Voodoo Cobra. But look at the track at night. That's just one of the coolest places to be. My other video talks about how much I love the racetrack and the Vegas life. You know, I don't go down to Vegas to go to the casinos or the clubs or do anything, but I have lots of great memories of going to Vegas, to the racetrack and to these areas. And so it's just cool to see this car in its prime and know what history it's had, and know that it was dominating the streets in its time. And eventually he turned it into a turbo car, and here it is racing a heads cam nitrous Camaro. The car pulled really hard. He did really well. Here's one of the last pictures of the car at the racetrack, and as of now the car's at his house. It's not sitting at Voodoo anymore. I had heard that the car only needed a few things and it'd be running again, and so we might see this car at the racetrack again, might see it on the streets again, we don't know. But anyway, it's a really awesome story about a white Terminator Cobra. It's made me want to buy a white Cobra. Obviously it means a lot to me to see all these videos and want to own a piece of that history, to the point where I talk to him about buying the car. But anyway, I have my own Cobras now, and that's fine with me. I'm really happy with them. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more Mustang stories like this.